Howdy folks, up here in the little room over the garage where I do my writing, and gonna try to keep stringing these together as long as folks will watch them. Tonight, I'm just gonna read you one about yoga, because, well, you'll see why. Put on the cheaters and let's get her. Oh, this is from Roughneck Grace. When I sign this book, that pig is on the inside too, and when I sign it for people, I write nice pig. You gotta write something. It is a nice pig. I like pigs. Recently, I haven't had a drop of alcohol in my life, let alone tonight, but I still said, recently. All right, let's go. Time's a burning. Who am I kidding? Where are we gonna go? Recently, a real live yogi asked my wife and me for help renaming his yoga studio. Asking a guy like me to rename your yoga studio is the rough equivalent of asking a room full of teenage boys to come up with an advertising slogan for baked beans. But I agreed to do the best I could, which is to say we lowered the bar immediately. This all came about in the first place because my wife is a longtime student of the yogic arts. I don't know if they give out yogi belts like they do karate belts, but if they did, I guess my wife would be somewhere at the higher end, say a third-degree rainbow belt or a first-degree tie-dye. She was studying before I met her and sustains a dedicated practice to this day. Over the past several years, she's been studying with the yogi in question, and he's become a family friend. In fact, we've had him over for pancakes. Gluten-free quinoa pancakes, sprinkled with essence of dandelion, or something along those righteous nutritional lines. But nonetheless, I think you should know that even yogis like pancakes. I have all the flexibility of a narrow-minded scarecrow. So both my wife and the yogi have tried to get me to try a few poses over the years, but it hasn't gone well. For one thing, I comport myself upon the mat with all the grace of a concussed cow. For another, yoga requires patience, dedication, and follow-through. And I just don't think that's fair. Nonetheless, my wife hangs in there. One thing I admire about her as a yoga instructor, and I mean this too because I've watched her do it. I've watched her transform folks who were looking for help. One thing I admire about her as a yoga instructor is her dedication to sharing the benefits of yoga with groups of people not normally considered yoga-friendly. For instance, a year or two ago, she asked me to help her write some promotional materials designed to lure farmers into attending yoga classes. I was pretty skeptical at first until I started paging through one of my wife's textbooks and discovered many of the poses were directly applicable. For instance, you got your plow pose, otherwise known as halasana. You got your wheel pose, which looks to me like it'd be a good choice if you was trying to locate a grease zerk on the underside of the hay baler. And then you got your seated wide-legged straddle, otherwise known as the Upavistha Konasana, which should come in handy when dismounting from the tractor or avoiding a charging pig. And then there's awkward chair pose, which I would call the Ufta, and half moon pose, which I renamed Farmer Dropped His Pliers. Some might call it the plumber. I wrote these suggestions up and shared them with my wife because we are in this together, whether she likes it or not. After reading them, she looked at me in a manner betraying the fact that she has a long way to go on this whole inner peace thing. Nonetheless, when the yogi called for help renaming his studio, she asked if I had any ideas. After a period of reflection, coming in at just under 3 minutes, I compiled the following list: languid yoga, grunty yoga, slippery yoga, do we have to yoga, something popped yoga, oops yoga, okay yoga, holy yogi yoga, nice tights yoga, the yoga barn, old country yoga buffet, posing for posers, Dudio with a studio. And finally, rock hard in your leotard. I submitted the list for review, but didn't hear back. When I inquired, my wife said she hadn't found time to respond because she's been busy developing a new yoga pose, especially for me. She says she hasn't decided what to call it yet, but she's leaning toward sound of one hamstring snapping. All right. Now I got to go in and see her. She knows I'm doing this too. Hey, folks, hang in there. Yeah, forward. Catch you later.